Yeah, I always look forward to this week. It's become probably my favorite week of the year, you know. NAMM is always really fun. Get to see the Warwick family there. Bass Player Live is always really cool. And then obviously touring is an amazing time, you know, as a musician. But there's something about like this week. I was telling my man over here, because he's relatively new, 4 weeks or something like that, and he's just like, yeah, this is my first, you know, I'm so brand new. I was like, this week is so cool. By the end, you'll see like just how magical it is. You know what I mean? It's just this like, you know, Scott Reeder always calls it, you know, get to go back to the chocolate factory, you know? It's like straight up Willy Wonka's chocolate factory here for bass players, you know? But it's just the really cool part about it, I think, is the family aspect of the company really shines through when you get to come to their home, so to speak, and you're in their house, you know? And you just get treated like a family member. And I think that it's been really cool to watch this camp grow as somebody who, you know, is a big fan of the Vic Wooten camps, and to kind of have, you know, Vic and Steve kind of get this thing set up using that formula, which is tried and true. I mean, it works, and you get incredible results with people. To see this camp grow into something that is, as a bass player, you know, sort of like a holy grail type of experience, you know, that you can really, really learn and grow from the most amazing peers. You know, I mean, like, you get these guys, a couple of the students I was talking to have been here a couple of years now, and they were, you know, explaining how they're like, it's kind of crazy how, you know, the first year you're like, oh my God, I'm sitting in between, you know, Chuck Rainey and Steve Bailey, you know, just like having lunch. It's like, I don't even know if I should move, you know? And then, you know, the next year or the third year they're here, they're like, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's just like, they're just people, you know, just good people, get to hang out, and you lose that sense of like awe, and you're like, just have this really kind of positive, you know, learning environment that's conducive to growing as a player. You know what I mean? Like, what you can take from all the range of people, anybody from like Divinity's stuff where she's, you know, has the exercise where you're, you know, just even talking and playing, you know, like who's ever really thought of putting that type of thing together? So getting the you know, such a wide range of players from all across the board, and having them openly share their secrets, you know, in a fun family environment. You can't beat it. You know, if you're a bass player, you got to come do this, you know, I think. It's priceless, literally. You couldn't,
yeah.
I mean, where could you go and get to meet all these people in a cool, chill environment where you can just have lunch with them or have breakfast with them? Or it's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, you know, as a kid, you're kind of growing up and you think, you know, oh man, I have to do this. I want to make this happen, you know, to make this a reality. And it can kind of almost be like the kid that says he's going to be you know, an NBA star, or an astronaut or a fighter pilot or whatever, you know, and you can get that pushback from people, you know, to be like, yeah, you know what the odds are, you know, that you could actually be successful though and like make a living doing it. And I think you have to, when you really believe in it, you know what I mean? If you really, really believe in it, and like the person that, when you get told that, you just get the fire inside of like burning even harder because somebody told you that you can't do it, you know? That's kind of one of the things for me that I think kind of drove me a bit, is to be like, it's so awesome to have something that you are like, I'm gonna make this happen. I don't care what it takes, and I don't care who's coming with me, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it happen. And I think like having that attitude is a big part of, you know, because you know, if you have that type of attitude, then you're gonna have the persistence. You're gonna be able to take the no's. You're gonna be able to handle all those obstacles that come up. And it doesn't necessarily get, I guess it doesn't necessarily get any easier. In fact, the obstacles can get greater and bigger as you work your way up, especially even if you have a band that's starting to get some progress and make some success. There's a lot of opposition out there, and a lot more competition, and the bigger you get, the more competition there is, and the more hands there are in the pot, and the harder it is to balance everything out. But I think that having that burning desire to make it work and to keep going and to keep pushing, it's the same thing that'll get you from playing local stages to playing national or international stages, or putting yourself on an international scene. Having that same kind of tenacity is the same thing that'll allow you to be able to conquer the bigger obstacles, and to keep going even when it's like, you know, beats you down and you're tired, and, you know, got a 30-hour drive home, and then you get, you know, a day off, and then a 15-hour drive back the other side of the country, and you know, then your transmission goes out or something, or you know, then the tire blows, and then you know, your food comes last, you know, stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think that's, you know, it's something that I think everybody, if you really feel like you want to do it, then you just have to get that fire lit and just keep putting fuel on that fire, and I think it'll work. You know, to be honest, you know, Warwick was the reason I wanted to start playing bass. It was the first tone that I had heard that I was like, holy cool, you know, holy, well, we had to edit that part out, but just, I was so wowed by the tone. I was so wowed by in the way that it was being used in the music, that I was like, oh, you can be a bass player, but be in the forefront, you know, not be in the background, you know, in the back of the gig, just like, you know, holding down just the root, which is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and that's an important part of being a bass player too. But for me, just, you know, the Warwick tone really helped define my tone. You know, like I consider the Warwick tone my tone, you know, and I think that once I switched over, even with my professional bands, once I switched over to Warwick, it was just like instant. It was like a turbocharge button for recognition as a bass player, even on a record, probably because you're like, yeah, it's that much easier to hear the bass, you know what I mean? And so it's naturally like, and it sounds good, so you can have it up in the mix and not have everybody else cringing, you know, like, the bass is way too loud, you know? It sounds so good that they're like, oh, the bass is loud, but it's great, it sounds awesome, I can hear it. So I think that, you know, that was a big part of at least, you know, what success I've had in getting recognized, at least in the metal scene, for being a bass player. I attribute a lot of it to the basses themselves, you know? The tone is there. You can make it sound awesome, you know what I mean? And I'm playing right now, I'm pretty much, mainly for my tone-wise, I'm pretty much using that Dolphin. I got a Dolphin 5-string and stock everything, and I run it passive with the single coil tapped, everything in the middle, and it's just boom. Anywhere I go, any gig, anybody I'm playing with, just plug right into the board, and I'm like, there it is. There's my tone right off the bat. And having that kind of comfort, I mean, that's really where you want to be, you know, playing. You know, when you know you can walk in any situation and have your tone right off the bat, and that comfort level makes you play better. And I think that in turn ends up doing better things for you as a musician. I'm using, I pretty much always do all my recording. I run everything through the Hellborg preamp. I've used the LWA over here before. I've never used it on a gig, but it is a super kicking amp. I love that little thing. And I've sort of come into the age now where I'm like, I don't know how much, with as much touring as I have coming up, you know, in the future, I'm not sure how much I really want to lug a 70-pound head on top of the 810 every single night, you know what I mean? And with the power that comes out of these little amps, it's like, why bother? You get the exact same sound that you get. And I'm running ears now too, so as long as I got some kind of a push on stage, I think it'll be good. But I love that preamp, man. I don't really, you know, have to do too much with that thing either, but just having that in the signal chain, you know, all my recordings, for the most part, I don't even run through cabs or anything like that. I just go the LWA, or not the LWA, excuse me, straight into the Hellborg, and then right into my preamp, throw a little bit of compression on it, tiny bit of EQ, bam, that's it. You know, I was talking about this the other day with somebody, and I was saying that it can be difficult with all of the sort of, I guess we can call it all the competition that's out there, and all the hype and the ego and the message boards and YouTube comments and all that stuff. And I think it can be sort of difficult to really play who you are. You know what I mean? To really just like not be playing through the, you know, cerebral, analytical left brain, you know, am I playing a cool technique? Okay, I gotta, you know, like you're not in music, you know, in that moment. I think that can be kind of difficult because there is so much, you know, just hoopla out there and sort of pressure to be, you know, super amazing or whatever. But I think that, you know, like if you like playing bass, you know, and you find yourself just getting the enjoyment out of it, the love of playing the bass in itself at your house, when nobody else is watching, when you're not recording, when you're just in that zone and you just are, you know, you feel yourself expressing yourself through the music, and it's not like you're playing off muscle memory, it's like it's music that's coming out of you. I think that, you know, that's something that might be something you want to keep on your own. Some people may want to just keep that for themselves, but when you get that type of really good personally expressive music out of you, that you should share it, you know? And I think that as like an aspiring bassist, some of the things that I would do is to try to really put yourself into the music and do a lot of things like you've done, you know what I mean? I think the YouTube thing is incredibly important as a player, to get yourself onto a worldwide scene. Who knows, maybe aliens are watching YouTube, you know what I mean? And they might want to come down and, you know, get a sweet young bass player for their funk band. You don't know, you know what I mean? So you want to do that, and I think that solid practice regimen, obviously, you know, to make sure that you're actually practicing, not just noodling, which I'm horrible victim or guilty of. And then, yeah, man, just really kind of push yourself to become better and to not have the fear of putting yourself out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing too, is that like the comments and everything that everybody's going to say about you, there's a million naysayers out there who aren't doing anything. You know, the guys who make all the comments that are, you know, sort of negative or, you know, just trying to take you down, all the haters or whatever. You ask them like, well, let's check out your video, man. You know, they don't ever have any, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. It takes balls to do that, you know, to put yourself and open yourself up for that type of criticism as an artist, you know? And then, yeah, I think I would, you know, really just emphasize that, you know, just don't be afraid to put your stuff out there. And the more that you do, the better that you'll get, you know, because you take in the criticism with a grain of salt or not, you know what I mean? But the simple act of like creating something and then putting it out there and it's done and you can't edit it anymore and you can't fix it anymore and you can't go back and, oh, I should have done this or that. But the next piece that you do, you can incorporate that stuff, and then the next piece, and then the next piece. Then after your, you know, 50th video, you know, you might decide that, oh, hey, this is something that's, you know, I'm really starting to get good at. So, yeah, I think like getting on your first national tour for sure is one of those moments where you come out and if it's a, you know, a good tour and you come out and you see that crowd, and like I think like one of the best things is to have that little bit of nervous energy before you play. You know, like having that for me and having that come back, because sometimes you'll go and like you get into the thing and like you're not nervous for the gig. That sucks, you know, when you're just like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's a gig, you know, it's another show or whatever. Like I like that feeling of like, holy shit, there's like 15,000 people out there, and you get a little nervous, you know what I mean? Because it means you're alive and it's real and this is that dream that you wanted, you know? For me, I think Mayhem was probably the ultimate experience where I was like, I want to do this forever. You know, I could do this forever, you know? Some tours, you can't wait for them to be over, you know, but something like that where you're just like, you go out and there's 5,000 to 10,000 people just like raging, emitting, you know, electricity onto the stage before you even get out there. And anything you do, you know, just throw your hand up and everybody throws their hands up, you know? To go out there and have that feeling and when you feel that electrical exchange, you know, of you pushing your energy back out onto them and they push their energy back onto you, and when you have that sort of communal type of energy when the riff's locked in and everybody's like headbanging together, you know, like I was like, this is awesome. I could do this forever, you know? I'm gonna be we'll see if it's, you know, we're kind of testing the waters out, not sure it's 100% gonna be full-time. We're not saying it's 100% gonna be full-time, but I'm definitely doing the next Havoc record. And we're gonna do a tour. I think it's coming up in, I don't know if I can, this will be announced by then, yeah, but I think we're gonna be doing a tour with Havoc in November in the States, and then there's some other really cool stuff coming with them. Job for a Cowboy is gonna be doing a show, doing some shows again. We had to take some time off. Our singer had a child, and but he's got some vacation time, and so we're gonna go do some festivals and cool stuff with that. Cephalic Carnage is gonna be doing another record. Really wanna try to say we can hope to get it out in 2016, but we'll definitely be doing some touring as well. But so between those three things, so there's Cephalic, Havoc, JFAC, and then there's some other guys, actually a couple of guys from Denver. I think everybody's pretty much from Denver, but all like, you know, national musicians that are from Denver. Some guys from Allegiant, some guys from Vale and Oth and this band Vamana, and myself, we're kind of putting together another project. And then working on a couple tracks with Ryan Martini. So there's actually a ton of stuff. It's gonna be a super busy year. I'm pretty excited. Yeah, because the last year was kind of slow for me, you know? So I'm super excited to get back out there and like just dive headfirst back into music and live it every day.